Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yadkripa tamham vande Shri Guru Dinatharine Paramananda Madhavam Chaitanya Ishwaram Jai Gurudev Jai Shri. Please repeat after me. Yam imam pushpitam vacham
यामिमं पुष्पिता वाचम्
pravadanti avipaschitaha
प्रवदन्ति अपविष्टतात्
vedvadratah partha
वेदवार्ता पार्था
nanyad astiti vadinaha
नान्यस्ति वादिना
कामात्मानः स्वर्गपरा
कामात्मानं स्वर्गपरा
जन्म कर्म फलप्रदाम्
जन्म कर्म फलप्रदाम्
क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम्
क्रिया विशेष बहुलां
भोगैश्वर्य गतिं प्रति.
भोगैश्वर्यगतं प्रति.
Any volunteers who would like to read the translation?
Yes, I can do, Prabhuji.
Please.
Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say there is nothing more than this. Purport Purport. People in general are not very intelligent, and due to their ignorance, they are most attached to the fruitive activities recommended in the Karma Kanda portions of the Vedas. They do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals for enjoying life in heaven, where wine and women are available and material opulence is very common. In the Vedas, many sacrifices are recommended for elevation to the heavenly planets, especially the Jyotistoma sacrifices. In fact, it is stated that anyone desiring elevation to heavenly planets must perform these sacrifices. And men with the poor fund of knowledge think that this is the whole purpose of Vedic wisdom. It is very difficult for such inexperienced persons to be situated in the determined action of Krishna's consciousness. As fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the results of such attractions, unenlightened men are similarly attracted by such heavenly opulence and the sun's enjoyment thereof. In the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, it is said Apama Somam, Amrita Abhyuma, and Aksham Va Have Chaturmasya Yajne Sukritam Bhavati. In other words, those who perform the 4-month penance become eligible to drink the Somarasa, beverages to become immortal and happy forever. Even on this earth, some are very eager to have Somrasa, Somras to become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratifications. Such persons have no faith in liberation from material bondage, and they are very much attached to the pompous ceremonies of Vedic sacrifices. They are generally sensual, and they do not want anything other than the heavenly pleasures of life. It is understood that there are gardens called Kanana, in which there is good opportunity for association with angelic, beautiful women and having a profuse supply of somrasa, wine. Such bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to such material, temporary happiness as lords of the material world.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you so much for reading. That was very nice. Little long purport, but very important points came out of it. So Krishna was telling Arjun how Arjun must fight without considering profit and loss, happiness and distress, um, gain or loss. So all these things he should not think of, and he should think of his dharma, his duty, his occupation, his um, what is his role in the society. He has to do it in that way. And Krishna is connecting everything to the very basic point. Like many times um, in match, a sports person may not be performing as well, so the coach or their guides or mentors will say, hey, go back to the basics, back to the basics. So Krishna is taking Arjun back to the basic and was telling from the very basic level that how we are not this body but super soul. And then Krishna started elaborating from the Vedas, where there are different sections, and sometimes it is hard for an ordinary person to understand what is the prescription and recommendation for me. Just like if people go to the doctor and the pharmacist, they have lots of medicines. Some medicines will be used for a certain purpose, and others will be used for another purpose. Like somebody may have a problem that they can't sleep, so they may get a medicine by which they can sleep nicely. But then there are some other medicines which actually will be given to those who are sleeping too much. If somebody is sleeping too much, then they will be given medicines by which they don't sleep much. Or if somebody is having a stomach problem, they cannot evacuate properly and are constipated, so they may have different medicine than somebody who may be having a diarrhea. So different people have different medications which will make them better. So similarly in Vedas also, depending upon what is our inclination, nature, where we are, we have to approach a bona fide representative, a guru, which Krishna will be telling later, but a mentor, a guide who will be able to guide us. And that's what Arjun did. Arjun approached Krishna and Krishna guided Arjun. So there are certain sections of the Vedas which are called as Karma Kanda. So karma means activities. Karma Kanda means you are doing activities because you are wanting certain results. You're liking a certain activity, but also you are liking the results which come out of that. So that is what Vedic knowledge has a significant amount of literature which focuses on that, and that is something which people usually may get attracted to very easily. That, oh, I want something, and if I follow this process, I'll get it. Oh, that's very nice. So then they are able to uh, uh, fulfill the results, the desires. And Krishna is using the word flowery words of the Vedas. These are the flowery words of the Vedas. Why? Because people are thinking, Arey, that is very nice. We'll get what we want. And that may be true. Like somebody may want to go to heaven and may want to enjoy all the different resources they have. So they will follow certain rules, regulations in this life, and then next life they'll be very, very pious, and they will get higher birth. So these are lot of processes mentioned here. Prabhupada specifies that there is Jyotishtoma sacrifices. So Jyotishtoma is a kind of a sacrifice or a yagya which is done for getting to the higher planets. And Prabhupada is saying it is very difficult for such an experienced person to be situated in determined action of Krishna consciousness. And in Karma Kanda section, um, so Karma Kanda is a significant amount of uh, focus, because that will attract people to come under the Vedic fold. Because many people, like Prabhupada starts by saying, people in general are not very intelligent. So they are not interested in spiritual benefit. They are thinking, Abhi, what we want right now. So there are some recommendations or prescriptions which will give benefit at the material level, and some of it will give benefit even within the short duration. So in Ayurveda, we see health remedies are there. And previously, Ayurveda knowledge was very vast. Now it's more limited because a lot of literature, a lot of things have been contaminated, corrupted, and it is preserved only with a very few section of the world. So it's very, very limited. But in the past, it was much more widespread. So, astrology, Ayurveda, yoga, so many other different things which we are actually trying to explore now were very nicely available previously. And the idea was that using these particular sciences, people will come within the Vedic fold, within the Vedic umbrella. And when they understand, okay, their bodily needs are being met, their mental needs are met, their psychological needs are met, then they feel like, okay, what is next? So then they start thinking about spiritual life. So there are four purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So dharma means some religiosity and occupational duty which will help me to get my what? uh, artha, get wealth and get my desires fulfilled. Dharma, artha, kama. And once these things get satisfied, then one thinks what is next, and then one goes towards moksha. So these are the four purusharthas according to the Vedic principles. uh, the process which we follow is actually even beyond that. So that is called as Pancham Purushartha. That yes, spiritual life is important, moksha is important, but taking to spiritual life in a way where we are completely connected with the with Krishna or with Lord or with the Supreme Absolute Truth, in the mood of love, where we can reciprocate with the love which we are getting from God, and we can put our heart and love to God. So that way we can see how bhakti is basically much higher than the other levels. Dharma, Artha, Kama. These three are the levels where one is engrossed and engaged in material duties, occupations, and all of that. But higher than that comes moksha, and the highest stage of moksha is when one is completely in union with Lord in love, completely in love. So Krishna is saying, don't get attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. In Vedas, in certain sections, they are only talking about how you can get material benefits, you can get your dharma, artha, and kama fulfilled. But these are fruitive sections where those people who want to get short term gain, short term benefit, are the ones who get attracted or attached. Go beyond it. That is what Krishna is recommending here. And Prabhupada explains here that how there are different methods of going to heavenly planets. And there are eh, like there's so many resources, so many ways by which one enjoys in these places. Um, there is unlimited profuse supply of somras. Somras is a kind of a drink which nourishes the body and make their think better and actually long life. It is intoxicant, but it is not like the intoxicant of wine or alcohol and stuff, which is actually detrimental to the body. But somras is actually very, very nutritious for the body. At the same time, it is very uh, um, relishable. So a lot of such different resources are available for sense gratification in the uh, higher planets like Swarga, and there are mentions of Nandakanan, and there are Apsaras, and so many of these things are there. So this is for somebody who wants to go there, enjoy pious life. But the problem is, Krishna will explain this later, that you will stay there till the time you have the piety. Once your account for piety goes down, then you come back. So um, many times we see here in our regular world that people want to go for some vacation, and when they have money they go out for vacation for a few days, they enjoy, they have a nice time, but then they come back. They can go as long for vacation as they have money. After that, they'll have to come back and get back to generating money or doing their duties or taking care of their life. So similarly, in this particular situation, we can see that how living entities, when they have lot of pious or piety or pious karma they have done, then they are in a position where they can enjoy nice sense gratification in heavenly planets. And those are some things which one can follow the rules of the karma kanda section and can utilize, and this will help in this life as well as in the next life, but only at the material level. Krishna is saying that one has to go beyond, and this will be elaborated even in the next shloka. So we'll go to the next shloka. Anybody wants to make any points, any questions, comments, any reflections on what we read so far? Okay, this is similar, so I will read this also, then we can take if any points come. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां
Bhogeshwar
भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां
तया पहरत चेतसाम्
Aya
या
Paharchetasam
परितचेतसाम्
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धे
Vaya Satvika Bodhi
व्यवसात्मिका बुद्धि
समाधौ न विधीयते.
Samadhuna Vidhyate.
समाधाना विधीयते.
Translation.
In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not take place. Should I read the purport? The samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, Nirukti, it says samyag adhiyate. Smin adhiyate smin atma tattva yathatmya. When the mind who is fixed for understanding the self, then it is said to be in samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons who are interested in the material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. They are bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy.
Thank you. So this is important shloka. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam. So bhog, what is bhog? Can anybody tell what is the meaning of bhog?
Material enjoyment.
Yeah, so bhog means to have material enjoyment, wants to enjoy themselves. So bhog and aishwarya. What is aishwarya? Aishwarya means a lot of opulences, lot of
Opulence.
resources to enjoy, right? So bhog and aishwarya. So those who are too much habituated to bhog and aishwarya and just want to do that, they may not even be habitated, but they really want to do it, and that is their focus, that is their attachment. So if we stay at that consciousness,
Was Akshat
Arjun
Maharaj?
was thinking how I can be happy, how I can enjoy, how this war will actually not lead to enjoyment because it may lead to suffering, and all those things do have a point. But what is the intention of Arjun? Arjun, Krishna is telling, hey, if your intention is for enjoying bhoga and aishwarya, then remember this point. That if
Maybe
you are
Rama is not there.
somebody saying something, Somebody's not mute. Okay. So, if you are attached to Bhog and Aishwarya, what happens to those people who are attached to this? They are confused, they get bewildered, and they are not focused and resolute. They don't get the Vyavasayatmika Buddhir. Vyavasayatmika Buddhir, like we had read in our previous shloka last week, that is the fixed, focused determination. Buddhir means intelligence. Vyavasayatmika, Vyavasay also means business. So Vyavasayatmika Buddhi means the intelligence of keeping focus and priority fixed in one. This is, I am completely fixed and determined that I have to advance spiritually and connect with the Supreme Lord. This is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So the resolute determination for devotional service to the Lord does not take place. So those who are too attached, they will not be able to get resolute determination. And samadhau na vidhiyate. Samadhi means, here it says samadhu, in controlled mind. One's mind is controlled and fixed. In whom are they trying to fix the mind? By controlling to the Supreme Lord. Samadhi means completely focusing on the Supreme and actually engaged in that way. And Samadhi could even be engaged completely in the service of the Lord. So, Prabhupada is explaining here, when the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in Samadhi. But Samadhi is never possible if we are too engrossed and engaged in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. So we have to actually change our focus, our consciousness from material to spiritual. That transformation is called as yoga. And when we are focused on spiritual and we are completely focused, that is the level of samadhi. It is the highest level of perfection. So if we are still engaged in material level, then we cannot be fixed in the spiritual. So basically the points which Arjuna had made in the first chapter, Krishna is presenting different perspective for countering those arguments. Okay, anybody would like to share anything from these three shlokas which we just read? 22, 23 and 24. Okay, we'll go to 25 now. This is important also. Please repeat after me. Traigunya Vishaya Veda
Trigunya Vishena Veda
Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna
Niste Gunyo Bhava Urjana
Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto
Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto
Niryoga Kshema Atmavan.
Niryoga Shematmavan.
Anybody available to read the translation and purport?
I can do that, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
The Vedas mainly deal with the subject of three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendent to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Purport. All material activities involves action and reactions in three modes of material nature. They are meant for fruitive results which cause bondage in the material world. The Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position on the transcendental plane. Arjuna, as a student and friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to raise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, where in the beginning there is Brahma Jignasa or questions on the supreme transcendence. All the living entities who are in the material world are struggling very hard for existence. For them, the Lord, after creation of the material world, gave the Vedic wisdom advising how to live and get rid of the material entanglement. When the activities for sense gratification, namely the Karma Khanda chapter, are finished, then the chance for spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishads, which are the part of different Vedas. As the Bhagavad Gita is a part of fifth Veda, namely the Mahabharata, the Upanishads mark the beginning of transcendental life. As long as the material body exists, there are actions and reactions in the material modes. One has to learn tolerance in the face of dualities such as happiness and distress, or cold and warm, and by tolerating such dualities, become free from anxieties regarding gain and loss. This transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna's consciousness when one is fully dependent on the goodwill of Krishna. Jai
Hare
Shri Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much for reading. Okay. So here Krishna is introducing this concept of three modes. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Traigunya. So there are three forces which are controlling all of us. These forces are Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. In English, sometimes they are translated as modes of nature. So they are uh, Trey Gunya, three gunas. Sattva is called as mode of passion. Rajoguna, mode of Sattva is mode of goodness. Rajoguna is mode of passion, and Tamoguna is mode of ignorance. So these three modes are not just affecting us, but all our environment is actually can be classified in this way: Satoguni, Rajoguni, and Tamoguni. So Satogun, or mode of goodness, people in the mode of goodness who are influenced by the mode of goodness, they will have a certain display of their qualities. Like for example, when Satogun is affecting, then people will be rising early in the morning. They will have a consciousness where they want to do good to others. They want to live a life which is balanced. Certain amount of time they'll work, certain amount of time they'll rest, certain amount of time they will engage in other activities, exercise, yoga, different things like that. uh, Mode of goodness people, they're active in the morning, and they the mode of goodness is predominant in the day, in the morning time. Mode of goodness people, when they are influenced by mode of goodness, they feel compassionate for other people. They feel sad if other people is having some problem, and they try to help. They help in society. They live their life in a balanced manner. Mode of passion means rajoguni, rajasic, like a raja, like a king. So they want everything best: big house, big car, opulence, best. They want to work hard. Mode of passion is very prominent during the daytime. So mode of goodness people, they are active, or when mode of goodness affects, is in the morning time, early morning. But mode of passion, slowly mode of goodness, during the day it goes down. Morning it's maximum, then slowly comes down, the influence of mode of goodness. Mode of passion slowly goes up, and it's maximum in the noon, afternoon time, and then mode of passion, it goes down. And at night it's the mode of ignorance, or the tamoguna, which becomes prominent. Tamas, ignorance. People in the mode of goodness, they like fruits which are like they like food which are juicy, fruity, and plant-based fruits, salads, these kind of things. But if you see mode of passion, they like spicy stuff, uh, lot of spicy. And mode of ignorance, they can eat stale, rotten, all those abominable things, tamoguni. So people in the mode of passion, they want to make a lot of money. They want to work hard for some reason. Even if they give donation or charity, it's for a reason. That okay, I will give, then my name should come, big name in the like many times you will go to an ashram or a temple, and in the fan it will be written donated by so and so. So like that, different people have different reasons for the different activities they are doing. So sattvic people do it for benefit of other people. Rajasic people, they do it because they get name, fame, prestige by that. And then tamasic people, they are not focused about helping others. No. In fact, they may engage in things which will harm them and harm others also. They will do whimsical things, things which may not necessarily have a very logic or reason, um, just by getting influenced by the environment and the peer pressure and not really thinking clearly. So, and each of these forces can affect everybody. So, when one is under the influence of satogun, one behaves in a certain way, rajogun is a different way, and then tamogun, it's different. So, same person can get influenced by different modes in different ways. So, mode of ignorance or tamogun, it is predominant at the night time. Bars, pubs, intoxicating areas where people are actually doing drugs, or people who are not even thinking about their benefit or other people benefit. Actually, they are doing harm to other people. They take pleasure by doing harm. So this is all tamogun. So these are different forces which are actually affecting. Sometimes in our life, we will see we'll be affected by mode of goodness. So well, we feel very well. But then rajogun and tamogun also comes in. When tamogun influence pretty badly, they are actually not constructive. In fact, they have destructive mentality. Either they'll destroy themselves, suicidal thoughts will come. So all this is tamogun. So Krishna is basically telling here that this Vedas, they have different sections. Karma Kanda we discussed, but mainly if you see, Vedas are dealing with three modes of material nature, how the modes act, how Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun are acting, and how they are influencing. And therefore, you do this, you get this. You do this, you get this. But Krishna is telling Arjun, you have to rise above this. Don't stay at this level of three modes, but actually go beyond the modes of nature. So when you go beyond the modes of nature, that is the Divya platform, transcendental platform, where one is in Vishuddha Satogun, which means even higher than Satogun. So though that is the divine consciousness, the consciousness in the supreme, being focused in that way. So Krishna is inspiring Arjun to actually come to that level. And if one is in Rajoguda, one is only thinking about fruits, how I'll get benefited. But when one advances to Satoguna, one can think clearly. And when one is in Satoguna and is focused on spiritual life, then one actually goes to the Brahma Jigyasa platform, where one is wanting to know what is the highest, what is the Brahma Gyan. And then one takes to the scriptures, to the different levels, Upanishad, Mahabharat, Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, so on and so forth. And Prabhupada is saying, as long as the material body exists, there are actions and reactions in the material modes, and one has to learn to tolerate in the face of duality such as happiness and distress. So, as long as we are in the world, we get a certain situation, which can make us either very happy or miserable, or we may be indifferent to it. And based upon that, it affects our consciousness quite a bit. What Krishna is saying is that learn to tolerate the different situations. And when one learns to tolerate, one stays focused on their duties and responsibilities, even if the situation may not be that favorable, even though it may be wanting to agitate the mind, but one is still able to focus and advance. So this transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna consciousness. So how to get there? By advancing spiritually. If one is spiritually focused in the supreme or divine consciousness, then one will be able to really get to the highest platform, and um, one needs the mercy of the Lord. It is fully dependent on the goodwill of Krishna. So we will do our part, but then we also need the others. We need guidance, we need guru, we need mentors, and then we need mercy and blessings of the Lord. We have to please the Lord by our actions or activities. When Lord is pleased, He's like the loving Father who's wanting to um, be with us always. But if we accept his proposal, then we can stay together. So far, we are so engrossed in our different things that we are not even focused. But the Lord is proposing it. He's done it in the Bhagavad Gita, and He does it through the devotees, through the Guru, the mentor, and then they help us connect back to the Lord. And the whole process is gradual process, but if one is serious and sincere, one can actually get to the highest level in just one lifetime. Considering that we have all had so many different past lives in different species, just giving our focus to Bhagavad Gita and connecting back to the Lord by the method of Bhagavad Gita in this life is actually a great opportunity. It's a great benediction. It's a great blessing. So we can utilize that and learn and try to apply in our life. So these are few thoughts I can share from this particular shloka. Anybody else would like to share anything? Any points, any questions, comments, reflections? So we did 42, 42, 43, 44, and 45. These are the 4 shlokas we did today. So anybody would like to share anything from these shlokas, or any questions anybody has? So next one is a little long. We'll take that next week, 46. So I think we'll stop here if nobody has any points. Thank you so much everyone for joining. We'll end here.